Burt-Godwin, and a few weeks ago I introduced you to a friend of mine from grade school that I've known all these years. Her name is Sarah Hernholm, and she started a nonprofit called WIT, which stands for Whatever It Takes. It is a nonprofit that helps young kids, teenagers mostly, find and discover and nurture their inner entrepreneur side. And it's such an amazing business. And we have talked to several teens that have come out of her WIT program. And one such student is here today. Her name is Sreshta Pothula. She is here zooming in from India. And I'm so excited to meet her. Sreshta, hello, welcome to America Trends.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to meet you. And I love that what time is it there?
4 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for getting up at the crack of dawn for yourself and joining us on the show today. I have been really excited to meet you, and I love Sarah and everything she's doing with Whatever It Takes. So I want to hear a little bit about you and your journey and how you even discovered Whatever It Takes, because we've talked to other WIT teens here in the States, but I haven't talked to anyone internationally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my story is a bit different just because, like you said, I'm on the other side of the world. So I have a cousin that lives in Austin, Texas, and she was a former WIT teen as well. And I used to chat with her regularly, and I actually knew a lot about WIT before I even joined. And that's sort of how I got to know about WIT through her. And so COVID kind of favored me because as soon as it hit online, they started online courses, and that's when I could actually join WIT online. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you had to submit an application, right? I believe that's the process.
That is the process.
And did you have to pitch an idea?
So the entire program is about getting your idea and the journey to getting there and all the steps you take. So the pitching was at the very end because it's like whatever you learned in like a minute and whatever you did over the last few months to put it all together.
Oh my gosh. So your cousin has been with WIT for a few years, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, awesome. And so you started with WIT, and then you have Prisons Fight COVID-19 is your business that you're working on, right? And so that started obviously out of COVID and then the concept. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so actually earlier I'm actually still part of it actually, but I'm part of this NGO in Bangalore, so that's where I live. And we did a lot of initiatives, social impact ones where we distributed blankets. Right now we're actually working on giving sports equipment to underprivileged kids and then like holding inter-school competitions. But that's sort of where it started and inspired me to start my own thing. Then when COVID hit, I read newspaper articles about how these prisons couldn't maintain themselves just because of the unsanitary conditions there. Mm-hmm. Didn't strike me as a huge issue, but then I realized that they don't get much help, and then I wanted to actually do something on my part, and that's sort of in line with my idea of giving back to the community that I initially wanted to do, and that's why I sort of like joined WIT, social entrepreneurship. And yeah, since then I donated I've raised $1,500. I've donated masks and hand sanitizers to prisons in India.
Wow, that's fascinating. And India was hit very hard, as the whole world has been, but India was hit particularly hard with COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And so you are from what part of India, did you say?
South Bangalore, this particular city called Bangalore.
Okay, and you're in high school still? I don't know if the school system is similar.
It's exactly the same. So I'm a junior in high school.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. And do you have you always thought that you want to go into business and own your own business someday?
Yeah, so even now I'm not entirely sure because I am interested in so many things. One of them is definitely entrepreneurship. Another one is AI. So I learned Sanskrit, so just linking both of them together and even entrepreneurship. So I have so many different directions I can go in right now.
Wow, that's fascinating. I always joke that I still don't know what I want to do, and I have so many interests, though. You just follow the one that's right in front of you, right? Your next indicated step. So for your current business venture, the Prisons Fight COVID-19, how do you go about raising the funds?
Yeah, so I actually used an online crowdfunding platform and all the sources I had. And being in WIT actually helped me because I could reach out to so many more people than I would have expected. And the way I did it was online crowdfunding so that literally anyone can do it from anywhere in the world.
And did you utilize social media like Instagram and Facebook and that kind of
Yeah.
those platforms as
So,
well?
uh, so I used Instagram because I actually have one for my business. But apart from that, I did ask my, relatives, my friends, anyone I knew to share it themselves. So their Facebooks, their Instagram, and that's sort of how I got the word around.
And how about your parents? Are they both entrepreneurs? I mean, you're such a go-getter. So where do you get your drive?
Yeah, so it's actually not my parents. They're my grandparents. So since I was a child, I've always been around them. I've been surrounded by them, and I've seen them like consistently. I've been told that do anything for like the good of other people. Always consider it social good. And I know that sort of comes in line with social entrepreneurship, but I actually learned it a long time ago and I didn't even realize because I've been observing them and whatever they do. And that's sort of their nature. So it kind of got instilled in me as well.
Well, that's pretty cool because a lot of people have to learn it, through studying, but you were kind of raised with it, it seems like, and it's part of who you are as a person. And to really have a passion for it, it's awesome that you saw your grandparents behave like that, and so it kind of became part of your makeup already. It seems like it was in your DNA.
Exactly. Sort of just all my life.
Yeah. So tell me about what's the next phase for this? So you raise the money crowdsourcing, and then how do you package? Do you provide masks and hand sanitizer, you were saying, for the prisons?
Yeah, so that's a great question, but I'm actually looking to obviously expand prison in regards to prisons fight COVID-19. As you can tell by the name, it's sort of limited by the pandemic, but I want to continue helping the prisons. I'll probably rename it in the future, but maybe like give them libraries, any resources they can't get. But in terms of me and like what I want to do in the immediate future, so like within the next few months, I want to start my own podcast. And that's how I want to pivot and make it more long term and spread positivity, especially during this time when all of us are, I mean, not that much, but still stuck at home, at least here. So just trying to spread positivity where I remind people that there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
What is the current lockdown or quarantine situation in India? Are you pretty much staying at home?
So until a few weeks ago, actually, we had to, but right now, I'm not sure how it is right now because I have online school, always stuck at home. But I think in the weekends we have like a curfew, so we're not allowed to go late at night, and shops shut down comparatively earlier.
And how about vaccine distribution? Is that happening?
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely happening. It's just that with the extremely high population here, it's hard for everyone. Like, no matter how many you get, it's still at a slower rate. But the main issue that, like, at least for me personally, is that they're not vaccinating people under 18 yet. So
I was going to ask that
kind
next.
of a risk. Yeah, it's kind of a risk to go to school as well when they open up.
Right. And how are kids of your age kind of managing here in the States? It's a big divide, mostly about adults. Adults are fighting over this more than the kids are, I think. But what's the general, how has it impacted your generation? And you are, as you said, you're a junior, right? So, some of the older kids that would normally be getting this in-person experience of school, how are you feeling? How is it impacting you being at home?
Yeah. So for me personally, it was much easier to adjust. Of course, it did take time, but my grandparents came over, and as you can tell, I'm like really close to them. So I would spend a lot of time with them. I'd spend a lot of time with my family. But for some people, it was really hard to adjust online school because we had to sit in front of the screen for like 8 hours straight. And I feel like at least people I know, it created a lot of there were a lot of mental health issues and but I think everyone got through it eventually, but it was just in those initial stages where it was hard to adapt.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear, I believe, in the beginning of unknown. Now it still feels unknown, but it sounds like I know people are adapting, kind of having to adapt, and it sounds like you are doing it tremendously well, and you have a lot of support. So let's go back to prisons fight COVID-19. So When you get the supplies, do you personally go take them to the prisons, or how does it get there?
Yeah. So as you can see in the pictures, I wasn't there, but I really wish I could. That was so like it's always during the pandemic when we have lockdown. So as much as I would love to go there, like the physical restrictions and like safety protocols, I couldn't get there. But one day I'd love to actually go myself. But I'm always in contact. So whenever I send someone I know, I'm always in touch with the prison managers, them, and make sure the delivery and stuff is going well.
Cool. I have more questions for you, so we have to take a break. Will you stick around and let us have another segment with you? Okay,
Sure.
great. So everyone at home, stick around. We've got more America Trends right after this break. You're watching America Trends. I am Mary Burt-Godwin, and I am in awe of this guest we are interviewing. She is zooming in from India, Sreshta Pothula. And I am just so in awe of everything that you do. Sreshta, you are a teenager with the WIT program. We've talked about on the show before, whatever it takes, doing whatever it takes. And I love that message that they really kind of instill in the teenagers. And when you work with WIT, when you're a WIT teen, let's say, you have mentors and people and classes that you can take, right? And if you're struggling or you have questions along the way, you can ask some of these mentors for assistance along the way, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we have hangouts, we always get to meet other teens and obviously experts in the field.
And have you had times along this journey where you think this is too much work, or you hit a roadblock and you think I'm in way over my head, or you've ever wanted to give up? Have you encountered that along this journey?
Yeah, so that's actually a perfect question, like especially right now, because I have so many roles at WIT. I'm always talking to the teens and different time zone. But I feel like actually working with WIT for this long and, staying up late sometimes, waking up early in the morning, it's all been worth it. And if anything, I've grown as a person. I have learned like organization skills, time management, and anytime I would, think that this is too much, I can obviously always ask for a break. So I take a break in the middle because that's also completely okay. And then I get back to it even better.
I love that. And, it is really helpful to have a community, and it's helpful. That's so awesome at your age to kind of learn and know when to ask for a break, or when to say, hey, you know what? I need help. Can someone step in and help me? Or I need a break. So that's awesome. And I know that you're getting really involved with WIT. You're doing some of their community management work. Is that correct? And helping with Slack and social media?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. You hit it right there. But specifically, I'll just like elaborate. I've gotten a lot of opportunities at WIT, and that's kind of why I love it here, because of all the teens I get to meet. And of course, I'm also earning money as a teen. So one of the things that I'm doing is I am actually managing the WIT community on Slack. I manage the Doing WIT social media, and recently I also got like 2 more speaking gigs, and I was speaking at this conference the other day.
Wow, that's so impressive. I want to go back to Slack for a minute, which I am a huge fan of Slack, the messaging platform. So is there a WIT Slack then that you can all go and talk to each other in different channels, or how does that work?
Yeah. So the Slack is actually like our main form of communication because everything's virtual. Luckily, like I think a few weeks ago, some of the teens actually got to meet in person. But yeah, exactly what you said. We have I don't even know how many channels like within the Slack. We probably have 20. So one has 11 WIT tips, one has gratitude because that's something we follow at WIT. Like just one channel for anyone to just ask for help. And like that, I can keep going on, but we have around 15.
For anyone at home that doesn't know what Slack is, it's basically a messaging platform, kind of texting, right? Like a fast email back and forth. And I have used it at a few of the places that I've worked, and I love it because it's a fast communication system. But then also you handle or do some work for their social media. Is that correct?
That is correct. They're Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, and how is that for you? Do you get into the strategy behind what to post and kind of study the methodology and algorithms behind, Instagram posting?
Yeah. So I tried that. I'm not gonna lie. I did try that at the beginning, but then with time zones, it was a bit hard, especially because school started. And to do it, you need to get videos from the teens, the guests. And so I managed to work my way around it. And now I figured out this one time that's convenient for me. I feel like the peak time would be around evening for, US, but that's like super early for me. So I always try to do it before I get to school.
Yeah, gosh, I've been in social media for so many years, and there's always people that think they know the ideal time to when to post, but really, it's just getting good content out there, I think, and having engaged fans that are really, interested in what you have to say, and you put good content, people are going to like it, no matter what time it's posted, I think. So tell me a little bit more about what you think your plans might be, or where you see yourself going. You have 2 more years of school there in India. Would you want to move to the States? Would you want to build a business there in India? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So obviously undergrad, I was thinking in the States. So that's why WIT is the perfect place to start off. And regarding like my plans in the future, about my career, I shared that, but just like more short term, I have so many initiatives or like ideas that I want to do, like to create, to target like local issues before I leave, obviously, and maybe even handle things from there. So one is, giving self-defense training to girls here, giving summer camp opportunities to like schools in rural areas or like government schools, underprivileged kids. Another one is obviously working on my podcast and expanding Prisons Fight COVID-19.
Oh yeah, tell us about your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking about there?
So that's actually a work in progress, and I'm doing it right now, which is why I can speak about it really well. I thought of it a few weeks ago, actually, because I wanted to pivot and I realized that podcasts are something that a lot of people get inspired by, and sometimes it can have a huge impact on them. And even if I can't reach a huge audience at the very beginning, as long as I have a few listeners that would benefit from, listening to other stories and people's experiences, how they learned from them, and just reminding people that after a setback, there's always something better to come.
I love that. And our floor manager just looked up the meaning of your name, Sreshta. Is that how I'm saying it correctly, right?
It's Sreshta.
Sreshta.
So,
and
yeah.
He said it means perfection. Is that true?
Exactly. That's right. It's Sanskrit again. It means the best.
Well, you are the best. I am so honored and privileged that we got to interview you today. And I hope that you'll come back and share with us how your podcast is going and any new journeys that you explore. I am so impressed by you, and I have 2 teenage daughters that are a little bit younger than you are, but I just hope that they can be as socially aware and positive and entrepreneurial as you are. So thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for getting up so early.
Thank you so much for having me. I'd do anything to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm really grateful for you. So good luck in everything, and everyone at home, thanks so much for tuning in to America Trends. We're here every Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. biztv.com/America Trends. We'll see you again tomorrow night.